In December of 2018, British backpacker Grace Mullane is on a Tinder date in Auckland, New Zealand. She's on a gap year after having finished university and she had matched with a guy on Tinder. He was an oil company manager and he seemed to have a lot going for him. His name is Jesse Kempson, and as he excuses himself to go to the bar, Grace takes her phone out and texts her friend, updating her on the date. She jokes that the cocktails are on him with him having such a good job and says that he lives in a hotel apartment. She puts her phone away and nobody ever hears from Grace Mullane again. She'd met Jesse on Tinder and the two of them had begun chatting. As you can see, there was extensive CCTV footage capturing the two meeting for the first time and enjoying going for food and drinks in Auckland. The two were spotted on various cameras throughout the night, drinking, getting more comfortable with each other and eventually heading back to Jesse's apartment. He lived in a hotel room essentially, so here's the footage of the pair going up in the lift to his room. As you can see, they both look very relaxed, very happy, and as they step out of the lift and head to the hotel room, Grace is never seen again. The next day is her birthday. She turns 22. As the birthday messages and phone calls blow up her phone, there's no response from Grace. In fact, 2 days go by and her family back in the UK becomes so concerned that they contact the police in Auckland. Eventually, she officially becomes a missing person and an investigation begins. Grace's dad rushes over to New Zealand in a panic and the police begin tracing the CCTV from the night that she disappeared, and luckily, because there's so much of it, they were practically able to follow her every move. Following the footage, especially of the lift, as you can imagine, Jessie very quickly became a person of interest, switches from a person of interest to a suspect when the police watch the hotel footage of the day after the night before. Jessie leaves that hotel room alone. Grace is definitely still inside the room at this point, having been there overnight. He takes a ride to the store where he purchases cleaning supplies and rents a professional carpet cleaner machine, which he confidently brings back to the hotel in front of the staff and makes his way back upstairs to the room. He also rents a car, but the police are most concerned when they see him go into the hotel room with a large suitcase, and after a short while he returns back into the lift and loads the suitcase onto a luggage rack and disappears outside. I'm sure that most of you realise at this point Grace's body was in the suitcase. Shockingly, after everything he'd done, he went out on another Tinder date this night. He went out with a woman who said that he gave really creepy vibes and she rejected a second date with him. One of the creepy vibes was that he kept talking about rough sex and how some people have taken rough sex too far and ended up murdering somebody by accident. Of course, Jesse is eventually brought in for questioning. He initially panics and just lies through his teeth, saying that he hasn't got a clue what happened to her, but eventually, after a few days, he breaks. Claims they had consensual sex and tried to say that Grace wanted to be choked and it went too far. Claimed it was a complete accident, he was totally innocent. However, further police investigation found disturbing images of Grace after she'd passed, and he'd moved her into different positions and photographed her. His internet search history was also a big part of the trial. He'd taken the suitcase and buried it. Multiple girls came forward and it turned out he had numerous allegations of sexual and violent crimes against his name. Sentenced to life with a minimum of 17 years before parole. Rest in peace, Grace. A truly horrifying case.